Hi, this is Lindsay Wazzola, and in this video, by request, we're going to explore how to add a DOI to our Shiny apps so that we can share them as research products or supplemental materials. The method that we're going to use to attach a DOI to our code is actually pretty straightforward. We're going to start with the Cranes repository, which, if you remember, is the repository that we made in the last video to hold our Crane Shiny app. And we're going to use the service Zenodo to connect our GitHub repository to Zenodo, which can mint a DOI for us. So the first thing that we're going to do is come over to Zenodo and log in with our GitHub account. In this case, my GitHub account. There it goes. Okay, great. So here's my Zenodo home screen. It just has a sort of news feed on the front page here. We're going to ignore all of that and come over here and click on my account. You see basic account details, but what's important is that we're going to scroll down to GitHub. And there's actually a really simple 3-step process that we have to follow here to attach a DOI to our code. So Zenodo has made these very handy toggle switches for us. So literally all we need to do is flip the toggle on for our cranes, pop over to GitHub and create a release, and then get a DOI badge, which we can put in the README of our code and write into our scientific papers. So I'm going to scroll down here to cranes, which already has a DOI because I was messing with it earlier, and click the toggle switch. Then I'll just reload that guy real quick. And we'll see that Cranes pops right up to the top as an enabled repository. So what we've done here is enabled something called webhooks, which is basically a way for websites to link to each other. So essentially what's going to happen is if we have that DOI, we can use it as a redirect link to our repository. And that redirect link is going to be tied to a specific release. So we'll head over to GitHub to see what we mean about a release. So I'm over here on the GitHub repository for Cranes. If you remember, it has a data folder, a www image folder, a license, a README with some instructions, and our app code. So I'm going to come over here and we're going to click on releases. And releases are like a published version of your code that you're putting out into the world, and that'll be retrievable even if you update it later. So this is how large software packages that you see published on GitHub are shared. So if you see something that's like version 0.0.1, that means that that's release 0.0.1. So we're going to draft a new release for Cranes, and we will call it, we have to give it a version tag, so we'll call it version 1.0, and we will title it Sandhill Crane Shiny app. And we will say, this is the first stable version of our Sandhill Crane app. And then we'll publish our release. And there we go. We see the V tag over here, V1.0. And these are the assets. So these are the code that's in here. And so we have zip and tar files. So cool. Okay. Now our Sandhill Crane app has a release. If we come back over to Cranes, there we go. We've got some information that we have a new release. Now we're going to head back to Zenodo. Now I'm going to just reload this over here. And there's our DOI. So this is a DOI that's attached to that Sandhill Crane repository. And because we've linked our two accounts, Zenodo and GitHub can talk to each other, and whenever we issue a new release, we can make sure that Zenodo is linking to the correct release. So I'm going to reload that one more time to be sure. There's our DOI. If I click get the DOI badge, it gives us a really handy little bit of markdown that we can just copy. And I'm just going to pop that right into our README file. Commit that change. And there we have it, a Shiny app in GitHub with a DOI. So just to make sure that it still works, I'm going to come over to blank RStudio window and just right in the console, I'm just going to load Shiny. And then I'm going to try run GitHub. And we'll still say, as we did before, repo equals cranes, username equals my username, and ref equals main, because we switched from master to main. If we run that line, and there we go. Fully functioning GitHub archived Shiny app with a DOI. Thanks for listening. I hope that this proves useful to you in your research endeavors.